I'm 102 years old, and I'm sitting at the same kitchen table where I've eaten breakfast for 63 years. My daughter wants to move me to one of those places. You know the kind. Nurses, bingo on Thursdays, people who smile too much. She doesn't understand that this table remembers things I can't say out loud. There's a coffee stain right here, shaped like Montana, that won't come out. Been there since 1987. That was the year I almost didn't make it to 1988. I kept a bottle of my husband's heart pills in this drawer. Not for him, for me. Every morning I'd open that drawer and just look at them. And then I'd choose. I'd close the drawer and make coffee instead. That stain happened one of those mornings. My hands were shaking so bad the cup just tipped over. I never wiped it up properly. I think I wanted to remember that I stayed. You want to know something strange? In my closet, behind the winter coats that smell like mothballs and decisions, there's a wooden cigar box, Macanudo, my father's brand. I haven't opened it in 40 years, maybe longer. Inside are 5 things, not photographs, not love letters tied with ribbon, just 5 things that tell a story nobody knows. A ticket stub from a movie I never saw. A baby's hospital bracelet with no name written on it. A key to an apartment I never lived in. A coin from a payphone, the old kind, before everything went digital. And a receipt from a Greyhound station dated March 4th, 1961. My children don't know this box exists. When I'm gone, they'll find it and wonder who their mother really was. Maybe that's better. Maybe not. I don't know anymore. Truth is, I've spent a lifetime keeping things in boxes. Every morning at 5:47, not 5:45, not 5:50, but 5:47, I sit on this porch and watch the sun come up over the same oak trees. They're older now. So am I. People who drive by probably think I'm praying. I'm not. I'm remembering. I'm remembering March 4th, 1961. That receipt in the box. I was 23 years old. I had a suitcase packed and hidden under the bed. A man waiting 3 states away who said he'd love me better. Who said my husband was cold. Who said I deserved more. And maybe he was right. Maybe I did. I had the taxi money in my coat pocket. The bus left at 6:15 in the morning. I was going to leave. At 5:30 I heard my daughter crying through the window. She was 18 months old, just a baby. She'd had a bad dream. I stood in the hallway with my coat on and my suitcase in my hand, and I listened to her cry. My husband didn't wake up. He never did. He could sleep through anything. I put the suitcase back under the bed. I unpacked in the dark, hanging each dress back in the closet like I was burying something. And I never told anyone how close they came to waking up without me. That sun came up anyway, just like it did this morning, just like it will tomorrow. But that hospital bracelet, that's a different story. It wasn't my daughter's bracelet. It was from a son I gave up when I was 17 years old, before I met my husband, before I became a mother to children who got to keep my name, before anyone knew. I held him for 4 minutes. I counted. 4 minutes in a county hospital in September of 1956. The room smelled like bleach and shame and something else I can't name. The nurse had cold hands. They wouldn't let me name him. They said it would be easier that way. They said a lot of things about what would be easier. I remember his weight, how solid he was, how real. And then they took him, and I went home, and I never spoke about it. Not to my husband, not to my other children, not to the priest, not to anyone. I chose to keep that secret, and it carved out a space inside me that nothing else could fill. Not my marriage, not my other children, not 60 years of sunrises. Nothing. For 60 years I've wondered if he looked for me, if he had a good mother, if he's even alive, if he hated me, if he understood I was just a child myself, if he... I didn't know. Until last year. Last year, on my 101st birthday, April 19th, a Tuesday, a letter came. The return address said St. Francis Adoption Registry. I saw it in the mailbox and my heart just stopped. I stood there in the driveway for I don't know how long. My neighbor asked if I was all right. I said I was fine. I wasn't fine. I sat in the hallway and stared at that envelope for an hour, maybe 2. My hands shook so hard I tore it trying to open it. Inside was a single photograph. An old man, maybe 75, 76, holding a baby. His grandchild, I think. He had kind eyes. On the back, in careful handwriting, the kind they don't teach anymore, it said, "I had a good life. I just wanted you to know." No name, no return address, no phone number. Just that. Just those 8 words. He'd found me. After all this time, he'd found me. And he'd forgiven me. Or maybe he'd never blamed me to begin with. And I never got to say, "I'm sorry." I never got to explain. I never got to tell him that not a day went by when I didn't think about those 4 minutes. I held that photograph and I cried in a way I haven't cried since 1956. Big, ugly, gasping sobs that hurt my ribs. I'm 102 years old, and I cried like a 17-year-old girl in a county hospital. But something broke open that day. Something I'd been keeping locked up with those 5 things in that box. You want to know what kept me alive all these years? Through the guilt, through the secrets, through the mornings I opened that drawer and looked at those pills and thought about how easy it would be. Through the days I felt like a fraud sitting at church or baking birthday cakes or pretending I was whole. 5 things kept me here. My daughter's laugh, the real one, not the polite one, the one that sounds like water running over rocks. She still laughs like that, even now when she's trying to convince me to leave this table. The sun coming up one more time. Every single morning it surprised me that it came back, that the world didn't end overnight, that I got another chance. The idea that maybe someday I'd be brave enough to open that box, to look at those 5 things and not fall apart, to tell someone the truth. I waited too long, but at least I waited instead of leaving. The hope, stubborn, foolish hope, that suffering isn't the end of the story, that maybe there's something after the pain. Maybe not redemption. I don't know if I believe in that. But something that makes it worth it. And the belief that being broken doesn't mean you can't still be whole. I know that doesn't make sense, but I'm broken in 100 places, and I'm still here, drinking coffee, watching the sun, choosing to stay. Every single day I chose it, even on the days I didn't want to. I'm 102 because I chose to stay. So I'm telling you this because someone needs to hear it. Maybe you. Maybe someone you love. Maybe someone who's sitting at their own table right now, looking at their own drawer, wondering if anyone would miss them. You don't have to be perfect to be worth staying for. You don't have to have all the answers. God knows I didn't. I don't. I made terrible choices. I kept secrets that poisoned me from the inside out. I let fear make my decisions. I stayed when maybe I should have left, and I gave up something I should have fought for. I'm not a saint. I'm not even sure I'm a good person. But I also made breakfast. I watched sunrises. I loved people the best I knew how, even when I was too afraid to love them honestly. I stayed. That counts for something. It has to. That box is still in my closet. I can't reach it anymore without help. Maybe my daughter will open it after I'm gone. Maybe she'll see that hospital bracelet and understand why I held her a little too tight sometimes. Maybe she'll see that bus receipt and understand why I never learned to let go. Maybe she'll see all 5 things and know that her mother was more complicated than the woman who made pot roast on Sundays. Maybe you'll understand too. We're all just choosing every morning. The sun comes up whether we want it to or not, and we decide, stay or go, open the drawer or close it, pack the suitcase or put it back, tell the truth or keep the secret. I don't have much time left. That's all right. I'm tired. But I'm glad I stayed long enough to see that photograph, to know he was okay, to know that maybe the worst thing I ever did wasn't the end of his story. It wasn't the end of mine either. So if you're sitting at your own kitchen table right now, with your own stains that won't come out and your own drawer you keep opening, close it. Make the coffee. Watch the sun come up. Choose to stay. Not because everything will be okay. Maybe it won't be. But because you're here, and that matters. And tomorrow the sun will come up again, whether you think you deserve it or not. You do. Deserve it, I mean. I wish someone had told me that when I was 17, or 23, or 56. I'm telling you now. Stay.